Hello guys, and welcome to a impromptu Reaper setup that I have been trying out and have been thoroughly enjoying. That may be an alternative to using Scourge or however you want to say it. So, first thing, the three traits we want to have is Spite, Soul Reaping, and Reaper. What weapons are you using? Good question. Your weapons are going to be Axe, Warhorn, and Staff. Now, I've personally used Corruption just for the Condi stack because my condition damage with food buffs, the cheap food buffs, mind you, at full 25, I'm pushing 1800, almost 1900. So, that is a preference. Bursting, do not use that. We figured out that it is broken and it's not doing that is what's supposed to do. So, with Staff, chance on hit, remove a condition. Pretty good. And let me mention that your Axe is 900 range. So you can sit back and pew pew pew. Hopefully I'll get to something where I can actually fight something and show you guys how it's going. So, back to the traits. The reason why we have Spite is Reaper's Might. Because this tailors into Reaper's Shroud. And when you start, I will show you in a minute how that ties together. It's great for damage. So for the first column for Spite, you went Spiteful Talisman, top one, Awaken the Pain, the second one, and Close to Death, the second one again. These last two more thoroughly general, and that's what a lot of Reaper use that are very strong. For Soul Reaping, you went an Unyielding Blast, because when you go into Shroud, your Shroud 1 skill, your basic attack, inflicts vulnerability, and that's very easily to stack vulnerability on enemies. Then you went Vital Persistence, gain Vitality, and Shroud skills gain reduced recharge, so they hit faster. Death Perception is increased critical chance by 33% and increased ferocity. Now, I'm at Trailblazer's gear, and with Scavenging Runes, so I have a little bit of precision, right? I'm just at about that base, excluding the buff I have right now. Typically, I set about 33 or 34 precision. Watch what happens when I go into Shroud. If I were near a keep, I have 76% crit. That means 1 in 3 at least is going to be a crit. Maybe more. I'm not good at math. That 33% though was at a base. So like 30 to 35% means 1 in every 5 hits. I remember that increment. 33, 34, etc., etc. You do the math there. If you could get over 60%, that's about 1 in 3, 1 in 4 hits as a crit on something that's not even designed to be a crit. So, that's very important to have. For Soul Reaper, I mentioned how these are going to tie together. Chilling Nova, critical hits against foes cause an explosion of chills. Now, I did try the Chill Fear build, but it was told to me that the chill can be turned into alacrity. So this is something where it's still pertaining to your crits, and it's not going to be just nothing but chills, and not going to be able to change it as much. That is good for slowing enemies down when we catch them. You could also switch it with reducing movement and parent speed. So if you feel like you're getting stuck, if you're getting crippled or chills, you can switch this one out for this one. That's what I found very useful as well. This one, not too, it's not really, it's more of a PvE thing. You see, when you inflict fear, you also chill, so any, like, of your small fear stuff, it inflicts chill, so that's another condition to put on them that'll mess them up. Decimating Defenses, striking a foe with vulnerability increases your critical chance. So, if they have 25 vulnerability, times that by 2, boom, you get a big chance of crits. You're going to be getting easily 50% crit chance. So if you have 30% stacked on top of 50, you're pushing 80 or 90% crit chance easily. Reaper's Onslaught. The reason we do this is because when you go into Reaper's Shroud, hitting a life rate reduces the recharge time of all Shroud skills and grants quickness. So you literally will spin really fast. So if you hit somebody hard and all of a sudden you see that quickness, once you see that quickness pop up, you start like seeing that blur around your character, or you see it pop up, hit that 4 ability, and you will spin like a bat out of hell in a washing machine in turbo mode. That's a blender. And yesterday when I tested it out, it was only on NPCs. I spiked with only 2 other people around me, providing buffs, from 2k and it shot all the way up to 17k with each hit instantly. So if anybody was in that range, I would have destroyed them. It's ridiculous how awesome it is. And that's in Trailblazers. That's not in Zergers, which would spike that up even higher. I like Trailblazers because it gives me that little bit of condition damage still. So, for your skills, my 6 is your soul is mine. The reason I use this one is because you can get in the middle of people, hit it, and you will strike people, do small damage, and refill your life force and damage them as well. So you heal, damage, and life force. So it's a good combination, and it's only 20 seconds. The problem is you have to have people around you, so this is great for if you want to be in the middle of it. This is what I'm designing this build for. Your weaklings, might, and is a stun break. So it's essentially when you get caught, you pop this, and you'll get out of your stuns. Suffer I use because it is a condition transfer. So you damage foes, you put chill on them, and if you've got a bunch of torment on you, you're going to transfer it to them. And it's going to be one condition. Doesn't seem like much, but it's 5 people around you. So I could put one more on there. I'm still playing around with this one. I may change it around for something else, but we'll see. Spectral Wall, or Fear Wall, as it's called, is a castable ability. Very easy to use. You can move it around, you know, put it wherever you want to do. This is great for chokes. So if we're on a bridge, or even, like say, they're up here on the steps, and they're coming down, you can cast it here, you can cast it here. Another thing I'll mention later is the set to range option, and that'll show you how far you can cast it. See, it's not going past this little, I'm pointing at, like you can see my finger, this little area here. It won't let me go past, and that's very helpful so you don't overcast your abilities. It's great. It literally stops it at a wall, so I know how far. So from here, what's the range? 900. So if I'm right here, we're going to use this for, actually, you know, let's use this tree for guidance. So this tree's here. 900 range for me is right there. So think of that in your head. So from here to here, that's 900 range. So if the tag's up here, this is your range you could be at. 600 range is going to be about right here, 300, etc., etc. So think of that. If you have to look at this several times, tree to just about the edge of the steps is 900 range. So if you look at that, that's about this far. So if you're on this build, you don't want to be no farther than that because of their range. Even though staff does have that nice 1200 range, let me show you an example of what 1200 range would be. So if you're on staff and we're like free casting, from here to just past the steps is 1200. See the difference? It's very small, but it's a little bit more. So from here, I'm going to put this down for the sake of distance. So from here to here is 1200 range. From here to about here is 900. So if you use a tree for base, to about right here, it was 900. 1200 is a little bit more. So that's another thing to take into account. For Shield to the Bone, this is a good, I'm diving in, I'm going to screw people up. What this ability does is it gives you stab, it chills them, does damage, and it freezes them for 2 seconds. This is where you go in, they're all clumped together, so we drop a bubble, grab, you go in there and you just use it, and it explodes. It is a 1 1/4 cast second time though, it's not instant. So it's going to take about 1.5 seconds to cast. So it's like dropping a bubble on a warrior, you have to account for it. If you use it and you get stuck, you can use your weaklings to get out of it, pop it. Like, I love using this in a couple people. This is what destroys people, because if you can catch them with your, it doesn't have to be Q, obviously. This is the way people use it. Whatever, however you have it set up. But it's more comfortable, whatever's more comfortable to use, it's quicker to click. Keybind it to that. That's Q is easy for me. And you just blow that up, and then you switch to Reaper Shroud. You hit the 5 ability, which I'll try to get some Reaper ability here to show you what those are. You stun them even more, and you hit the 4 with your quickest. You can just absolutely just destroy anyone that's not a heavy. It LEs, all the necros, you would just destroy people. So for this week, this would be a great thing to try because it does so much damage. It's not really great against a lot of heavies. So if it's like a lot of warriors and guardians and stuff, it will put pressure on them. But it's great to nuke, like if you go and push into a backline. and you want to, there's nothing to take in here for me to build up my shroud. Let's see here. If you want to, like, say we're out here by the keep, right, and we're all grouped up, and there's another group over here, and they're like what they like to do, they come around into the trees, try to sneak up here, and you veer right, and you see, okay, all their heavies are going that way towards the pugs. Here is all of their reapers, their mesmers. You start putting down your marks, you putting, catching them, snaring them. Maybe they stun you, so you have to pop your that, and then you see a clump of them right here, so you hit your Q, boom, they're all frozen. People start putting pressure on them, and this is where you'd want to use your Reaper Shroud. Now, if you have to get away, and your staff is, say you've used all your staff abilities for the bomb, right? You have your axe. Remember, this is 900 range. 900 range. I could hit people still over in those trees. So, say I put the Fear Wall to put them back. And this 2 ability is Ghastly Claws is great for getting your life force back up. So once I start attacking somebody with that, it is fantastic for getting my life force back up. Because let me try it on this MOA, see what happens. Choo, 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 choo. So I'm at 2,000 already. Choo. And this is 1, 2, 1, 2. See that? I'm just auto attacking. And if that was a person or a player, they would have a bad day. You can literally just auto cast this and its vulnerability for days. So let me try to just work this out again. So for your Warhorns, it's a daze, 2-second daze. And if you feel like you're slow, Warhorn 5. It cripples enemies and it gives you swiftness. So that's another good ability if you feel like you're getting stuck or behind. So you see how I've done 2 enemies? And, I mean, enemies, quote-unquote, deer. And this should fill me up just about. There we go. So now I'm Reaper Shroud. So let me show you what I mean by the abilities. So say the enemy's doing the same thing. We catch them from behind. Boom, you're going to Reaper Shroud. The first thing you want to hit, Infusing Terror. Boom. Do not double-click it. Click it once. Let it tick. Once it's done ticking, you can either, once you watch that interval, so right before it stops, you can hit it again, and you could fear. What you want to do is, once you do that, that's basically your stab. Then you hit 5, and then 4. I know it timed out already, but once you hit this 5, this area that the chill, that will literally freeze people on an icicle. You put them in the icicle, you hit that 4 ability, that quickness goes off, you will destroy people. It is very glorious. So, I hope I explained this fairly well. I'm going to post this, and hopefully you guys like it. Yeah, I think that's it for that. So please, let me know if you have any questions, yada yada. And whoever else watches this, I hope you liked it and it was informative. Thank you, and bye-bye.